Hey everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer and welcome to a new playthrough video. Today I am playing Arkham Horror, the card game. Specifically, I am playing the Path to Carcosa campaign. I am on scenario number 4, the Unspeakable Oath. I'm not going to summarize the previous 3. If you haven't watched them, I recommend you go back and that way you'll be caught up with the story. When I ended scenario 3, I got some information about an individual named Daniel Chesterfield who was committed to the asylum. He was a stagehand at the previous The King in Yellow, the play at the previous event. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and read you the Scenario 4 Unspeakable Oath intro. It says, check campaign log. If the followers of the sign have found the way forward, read intro 1. I don't know what that is. Obviously, I didn't find that. So it says, otherwise skip to intro 2. So intro 2. Over the course of the next few days, you delve into the evidence you've collected, hoping to find any information regarding Daniel Chesterfield, a stagehand during the previous production of The King in Yellow. As far as you can tell, he's the only surviving member of that production's cast and crew. The rest of them, that is, those for whom you can find any records at all, disappeared or died soon after opening night in a variety of fashions connected only by their morbidness. Freak accidents, suicides, vanishings. It would seem that Daniel is your only lead. If you were to investigate further, according to the records you found, he was admitted to Arkham Asylum many years ago. All documentation about Daniel's treatment seems to end there. You're unsure if he's even still alive. Perhaps he was cured and released. You were hoping to avoid this, but there seems to be only one way out. You collect your belongings and head down towards Arkham Asylum. As you enter the asylum, you stop to speak with the receptionist, though you feel your body urged to step deeper into the clutches of this madhouse. He gives you a confused expression as you tell him of the King in Yellow and of Daniel. But at your insistence, he pours through his file cabinet, eventually pulling out a stark white folder. Inside is a wealth of information about the patients admitted to the asylum, medical records, psychiatric evaluations, and the like. You recognize a few of the faces as he flips through the pages. Daniel Chesterfield. Yes, he was admitted under the special care of Dr. Mintz, M-I-N-T-Z. But you can't see him. His level is restricted to staff only. You argue and insist to be led into the patient wing, knowing that Daniel must hold the keys to understanding what is really going on. The receptionist gives you a pitying smile and relents, nodding to the security guard nearby. Oh, of course, he says with all the honesty of a street peddler. I will schedule a meeting for you with Dr. Mintz so you can speak with him about Daniel. These gentlemen will see you in. Relieved that you will soon get the answers you seek, you are escorted into the patient wing of Arkham Asylum. Check the campaign log. If Constant Domain is listed under VIPs interviewed, I believe I did. Let me double check. Constance, yes, I did interview her. Okay. So if you interviewed her, proceed to Constance's information. All right, Constance's information. You recall what Constance had told you when you spoke with her during the hellish dinner party. She and the other members of the cast and crew had been told by the director, Nigel Ingram, to take some kind of oath. At first, she'd written it off as the whim of an eccentric artist, something Mr. Ingram did as a strange formality to unite and strengthen the bonds of the cast and crew. And to his credit, she claimed that it had worked. Ever since they'd taken his strange oath, she and the other members of the troupe felt much more confident and full of spirit. Perhaps Daniel had a similar experience during the last production of The King in Yellow. You must speak to him about this. Each investigator places the top card of his or her deck face down in his or her play area without looking at it. Treat this card as a courage asset with 0 cost, no icons, and 2 sanity. Discard this card if it leaves play for any reason. Proceed to... Okay, so courage. Interesting. Courage can take up to 2 horror for you if you have the card. So the first thing I need to do is shuffle the decks. I've already shuffled them, and I'm just going to shuffle them again so you'll see that I am playing by the rules. All right, let me get my 5 out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what he got. Remember, you can do a mulligan. Christopher Mullen's good. Fieldwork is good. Shortcut's good. Emergency cash and perception. These are all good. I can't really complain. I'll keep those. And then it says you take the first card on your deck without looking at it and you place it here, and it's a courage card. So I will I will try to remember that. The rules also said to put a -2 in the bag, so there that goes. Let's get Roland Banks figured out. Shuffle him a couple times just to get the deck really shuffled well. Draw a couple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's see what he got. A knife, first aid, his 38, which is excellent. The weakness, which I can get rid of, and counterpunch. So I will draw another card and then shuffle weakness. You do not have to keep a weakness in your first draw hand. You can mulligan it and get rid of it. So it's shuffle again. It's in there, and hopefully I am bad this morning. It's early in the morning on a Saturday, and I'm tired, but not tired, groggy. So there we go. All right. That's done. I draw the top card, but I don't look at it, and he has a courage. Remember, I can put 2 horror on this before it goes away. All right, last thing I need to do is read you the agenda and the act. The agenda says, locked inside. The patient wing of the asylum is far quieter and lonelier than you had expected. The hall reeks of chemicals and body odor. As soon as you are escorted inside, the doors behind you are closed and locked tight. It takes 2 Doom token to forward this. I don't want that forwarding. Arkham Asylum is the act. I do want to advance this act. Aside from the few patients giving you a wide berth, there aren't any orderlies or doctors around to speak with. Looks like you'll have to find Mr. Chesterfield on your own. It's going to take 6 clues to advance this. All right, and it says I can start at either the West Hall or the East Hall. Let me flip these so I'm looking right. West and East, okay. I will put Roland in the West, and I'll put Harvey in the East, just to give them more spread out. All right, it is now, I've shuffled this, but I'll shuffle it one more time for you. And then cut it a couple times. All right. And what else? That is it. All right, time to go. Let's get rolling, investigate. So let's flip this. Oh, there are 2 clues here with a shroud of 3. Okay. So once again, I forgot to give myself my starting 5. I always do this. I got to remember to get this set up properly. So each one of them gets 5 resources to start with, and no clues. They start with no clues. That's typical of most of the games. And in most games, if you haven't been watching, clues are the way that you forward the act. So I got to get 6 of them. So there's 2 here, and it's got a shroud of 2. Each possessed enemy at this location gets +1 horror. Oh, good. All right, Roland should start investigating. Well, let's keep moving. Let's see what I've got here. So he moves. No. This one flips because he's there. This one flips. It has 0 clues, 3 shroud. Take a horror as an action. You can automatically evade a possessed. All right, well, no clues there. So Roland on his first action will move to the mess hall. There are 4 clues here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it says forced. After you successfully investigate the mess hall, choose and discard 1 card from your hand. All right. For his second action, he can move to the kitchen and investigate. But let's go ahead and save 2 to see if we can get these. All right. So that doesn't help. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. None of his cards are really going to help me investigate. But his investigate is 3, and it is a shroud of 2. So I'm going to take a chance and go for it. 3 versus 2. And I drew the skull, which is -1. If you fail, randomly choose an enemy from among the set-aside monsters and place it beneath the act deck without looking at it. Okay. So, by the way, I forgot to tell you, it told me to take all of the monsters and, yes, all of the monsters and create a deck and set it aside. So I'm just going to shuffle it real quick, and we'll put it right here. That's the monster deck. All right, so he did get a clue. He successfully investigated. And I'm going to have him do it again. So it's 3 versus 2. Ooh, auto fail. So he is done. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Autofail. Yeah, autofail's autofail. All right, let's do Harvey. Harvey will move to the infirmary for his first action. It's got 2 clues on it. 1 and 2. And it says, as an action, you can heal 1 damage and take a direct horror, or heal 1 horror and take a direct damage. Interesting. All right. It's got a Shroud of 3. He's got an Investigate of 5. He moved. Let's get him. After you move to a location, if that location has at least 1 clue on it, exhaust field work. You get +2 for that. Okay. Choose an investigator. Let's. I'm gonna contribute perception, because if I succeed on this test, he gets to draw a card. So I'll discard this one. He's at now 7 versus 3, which is great odds. It's the autofail I worry about. 7 versus 3, and I got the Elder Sign. So he gets to draw a card because he passed it. And his Elder Sign says +1 and draw a card. So he gets to draw another one. Excellent. So he gets a clue. And he's got 1 more action. He moved, he investigated. And I tell you what, I'm going to get out one of his cards. I'm going to play... Do I do field work? It's an asset. After you move to a location, if it has at least 1 clue, exhaust it, you get +2. That's pretty good. Or I could get Dr. Milan Christopher out, one of his allies. You get +1 research. After you investigate, gain a let's do that one. I'm going to pay 4 for his... He moved him for his 3rd action to get Milan out. And Milan gets him +1 research. So that's pretty good. And that is the end of Harvey's turn. All right. So now it goes to the enemy phase. There are no enemies in play. So you go to upkeep. These both get flipped over. They each get a resource. And they draw a card. Now, Roland just draws 1. But Harvey gets to draw 2 and discard 1. So he gets deduction and feed the mind. Deduction's a great one because if you succeed, you get another clue. So if I move to the basement hall and there's like 2 clues there, I could play that. So I'm going to take that one and discard that one. And that is the end of the investigator, or the upkeep phase. So now what you do is you place a doom token on the current agenda. It's got 1 out of the 2, and then each investigator draws an event card. Now, who went first? It was Roland. Roland draws Whisper in Your Head, Peril Hidden. Secretly add it to your hand. You cannot trigger fast abilities. It takes 2 actions to discard it. Well, that's not good. All right, so I will have to get rid of that because you can't trigger anything fast. All right, and then Harvey draws Descent into Madness. It's got Surge. Revelation, if you have at least 3 horror, you lose an action. He does not, but it does have Surge, so he has to draw again. Walls Closing In. Test Will. Where X is the shroud value of your location. If you fail, you must either take 1 horror for each point you failed by, or randomly choose 1 enemy among the set-aside monsters and place it beneath the act deck without looking at it. Well, let's do it first, and let's see. His will is 4, and he's got a test versus 3. He could contribute. I'm going to contribute Shortcut because I won't be able to use it for a while. So that knocks it up to 5 will versus 3. And he got the Elder Sign, which is +1, and I get to draw a card. Oh, he got the bad card. The Clasp of the Black Onyx. This is the weakness that he drew in the last game. While it's in your hand, increase the cost of all the other cards in your hand by 1. Ow, that hurts. Okay. Well, I wish I hadn't drawn that one, but that's okay. Where was I? That was his... he drew this card, which he did pass, by the way. He passed it, but he had to draw a card. So this Walls closing in goes away, and it is now their turn. And this remains in play. There's no way to get rid of it. So it really is a cursed book. All right, let's do Roland. He needs to use 2 actions to get rid of this. So he'll burn 2 actions to get rid of that. There's three clues on Mess Hall. And he's got 1 action left. Let's go ahead and get his gun out because you just never know. I'm going to pay 3 to get his gun out for his last action. It gets 4 ammo on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the end of his turn. All right. It is now Harvey's turn, remembering that increase the cost of each card in your hand by 1. Good. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this last clue. And I can contribute higher. Spend 1 to get +1 will for this test. It's all about the clues. Let's get the clue. So that knocks it up by 1. So he's doing 6 versus 3. That is a minus X. X is the amount of horror. He has 0 horror on him. So he does pass it. He gets this clue. Now he will move for his second action. And he'll move for his third action to the basement. This one has 2 clues on it. 1, 2. Shroud of 4. It says, after the basement is revealed, put the 4 set-aside patient confinement locations into play. Okay. So there are 4 of these. And they all link to this card. So let me do this. Let me push these up a little bit. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. They all are in the basement. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Which probably means the guy I'm looking for is in one of these. That's my best guess. All right. Interesting. So he moved. He investigated. He moved. He moved. He is done. That is the end of his turn. There are no bad guys in play, so it's upkeep phase. Flip these over. He gets a resource and a card. He gets his 45. Great, he's just got all kinds of weapons. And Harvey draws 2 cards and gets to get rid of 1 of them. Dr. Ellie Horowitz. After she enters play, search the tide cards for your epic or mind over matter. Faster. Until the end round, you may use your book in place of this. He's already got 1 ally in play. This one's not a bad one. But searching for I've only got like a couple relics. But you do attach it to her. I'm gonna but she's gonna cost 4 to keep or to play, whereas this will cost 2. I will keep this card. All right. That is it for the upkeep phase. Put a doom token. All right, a doom goes on. That's all it takes to force this. Speaking with the patients is proving more difficult than you had assumed. They eye you cautiously and refuse to answer your questions, backing away or fleeing if confronted. Either they're not used to guests or something about you is causing them a considerable amount of distress. The longer you remain in this place, the more you notice a change in their demeanor. A flash of yellow in one's eyes catches your attention. Are they being controlled? Shuffle the encounter discard pile and each of the set-aside possessed enemies into the encounter. Okay, the possessed enemies were these. Possessed, yeah. And then these, and they get shuffled into here. So now the monsters are going to come out. Great. All right. So at the beginning of the game for the setup, it said to pull out all these possessed enemies and leave them set aside. So now they are in the deck. Okay. All right, so this gets set aside. This one takes 7 doom tokens to advance. Torturous Descent. The longer you spend in this hellish place, the more you want to leave. Already it has felt like days. You fear that if you were stuck here much longer, you will become like the patients, a husk of your former self, unruly and dangerous. All right, we need to get these clues. All right, so I've got 2, 3. I need 3 more. It is now time to draw a card. Who went first? Roland went first. So he draws Dance of the Yellow King. If there are no possessed enemies in play, Dance of the King gains Surge. There are not. So it gains Surge. You draw another one. Walls Closing In. This one again. Test X will. His will is 3, where X is the shroud value. Shroud value is 2. He can do... I'm going to play Trusted to get +1. So he is now at 4 will versus 2. 4 minus 1 is 3, so he passed that. That goes away. And then Harvey draws Walls Closing In. Same thing. His is 4. I don't really want to contribute anything, although I could. Well, I think I'm going to try it. 4 versus 2. The skull. The skull is -1. Okay, so he passes it. All right, so he does not have to deal with that. All right, my turn. Let's do Harvey. Harvey will investigate 5. He's got Dr. Milan, which gives him 6. 6 versus 4, and he will contribute deduction. If the skill passes, you get an additional clue. So he's at 7 versus 2. So really, the only thing that can hurt me is the auto fail. I think 7 versus 2. I got it. All right, so I got 1 clue and I get the other one, so 4. That was his first action. He will move. I can move to these. So let's just go right to left, or do we go left to right? Let's go right to left. So he's going to move here. Patient confinement. 1 clue. Test 2. Investigate to speak to the patient here. If you succeed, you are able to interpret her ravings. Remember that you know the guard's patrols. Okay. So let's see. He investigated. He moved. Let's go ahead and do this clue, which will let me advance that and do this thing. Test 2 book. Well, he's at 5, 6. 6 versus 2. Elder Sign, yeah, +1 card. Unexpected Courage. And he gets the clue. And he gets to write in, remember you know the guards. Okay, I will try to remember that. I know the guards. Okay, I know the guards patrol, excuse me. So that is his last action. However, he does have the requisite clues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I will go ahead and spin those to advance the act. Turning a corner, you nearly bump into a nurse with light brown hair and sharp features. You tell her about the violent patients and the strange things you've seen, but she doesn't listen. When you inquire about Daniel, she informs you that he is a patient of Dr. Mintz and that he resides in the secured basement level. Excellent. Unfortunately, she refuses to let you in to that area of the asylum. Well, that's too bad. The investigators must decide. Any investigator may test 4 strength to intimidate her into giving you the keys. Any investigator may test 4 investigate to persuade her to give you the keys. If successful, advance to 2A. If fail, you must choose an option you have yet to choose. All right, so let's try to do the investigate. He's at 6 versus 4. I'm going to go ahead and do Unexpected Courage to make that 8 versus 4. And I got -1, so he does do it. So I guess that means these are open now. But that's funny. I was able to get to him. Could I not have gotten into the basement? The door leading into the basement is locked. You cannot enter it. Okay. I didn't read that beforehand. So when I moved here, he would have had to stop, which means he would not have gotten this 6th clue to get to the nurse, which means Roland would have had to get the clue. So here's what I'm going to do to fix that. I'm going to assume that he snuck in, but Roland has to get a clue on his turn. Has to, in order for this to have worked. All right, so Roland needs to do an investigate. He is 3 versus 2. And I can contribute Monster Slayer to make it 4 versus 2. 4 versus 2. He got 4 minus 1 is 3, so he beat it. So he did get a clue, which means he still has 1 on him. No. This one still has 1 on it, right? He would have gotten the clue. Then he would have done his thing to get the keys to unlock this. So I'll put this back on there. The 2 clues he had plus the 4 would have unlocked that, which unlocked the door. So I will just play this as if it happened. He'll lose an action. I'll just pretend that he's only got 2 actions, that he moved here. 2 actions. Okay. So Roland did 1. Do I want to go to the kitchen, or do I want to keep getting clues? Well, he can beat 2 with his 3, so let's try it. He's going to investigate. 3 versus 2. He did. He got another clue. And for his 3rd and final action, he'll investigate again. 3 versus 2. 3 minus 1 is 2, so he got the last clue. All right, and that is the end of his turn. Now, let's see. Where am I? Okay. It is now enemy phase. There are no enemies. Upkeep. These will flip over. And he gets a resource and a card. Unexpected Courage. He gets a resource and 2 cards. 1, 2. The Man in the Pallid Mask and Medical Text. I can discard this. Excellent. And he'll take Medical Text. All right. That is the end of the upkeep phase. Put a Doom token on. 1 out of 7. Roland went last, so Harvey went first. So let's do this. The yellow sign. Test 4 will. If you fail, take 2 horror and search your deck for a madness weakness. Draw that card and shuffle your deck. He better pass this. His will is 4. He's going versus 4. I can play Old Book of Lore to make it 5. And that's all I can do. 5 versus 4. 5 minus 0 is 5, so he passed it. All right. Roland. Was that Roland? That was Harvey. Harvey went first. Now it's Roland. Dance of Yellow. If there are no possessed in play, it gains Surge. There are no possessed. So draw another card. Gift of Madness. Peril Hidden. Secretly add it to your hand. You cannot trigger 1-action abilities on locations. As an action, you can randomly choose 1 enemy from among the set-aside monsters and place it beneath the act without looking at it. Then I can get rid of this. Man, you cannot trigger fast abilities or 1-action abilities on locations. I'm going to hold that until... I'm going to keep that card until it becomes a problem for me. All right, so that is it. It is now my turn. Harvey will... he has to research this to get this clue. So remember, I said he moved. That was 1 action. He'll investigate for his 2nd action. 6 versus 3. 6 minus 2 is 4, so he does get this clue. And he does get the locate the guards. And he's got 1 more action. He moved. He investigated. He'll move to this one and flip it. It has a clue on it. Test 2 strength to release the patient. If you succeed, he howls like a wolf and tears off through the basement. Remember that you released a dangerous patient. Not sure I want to do that. Wow. Okay. So he is done. Harvey is done. Roland. Roland will move to the... Well, hold on. I never read this since I advanced it. The really bad ones. Daniel is somewhere in the secured basement where the most dangerous patients are kept. Now that you have the key, you can explore. Ignore the text on the unrevealed sides of Arkham Asylum locations, because I have the keys now. Objective: find the patient confinement location with Daniel. Oh, I'm already down here, so that's good. Now the question is this dangerous patient Daniel? I don't know. So I'm probably going to need to reveal these and see. So, okay. So Roland, his turn. Do I investigate the kitchen or do I come back here and get these clues? Let's do the kitchen. He moves. It's got 2 clues on it. It's a 2 shroud. As a free action, if there are no clues on the kitchen, test 2 will. If you succeed, remember that you set a fire in the kitchen. But I can't do that because it's a fast action. So I won't be able to set a fire in the kitchen. But I would like those clues, so let's do that. So he is going to investigate, and he's got unexpected courage. It's a shroud of 2. Let's do that. I'll commit that. His investigate goes up to 5 to 2. 5 versus 2. He gets a clue. Oh, by the way, this one, find the patient. So I cannot forward this until I find Daniel. Okay, I got it. So let's go ahead and investigate again. It's now 3 versus 2 because he doesn't have any more cards he can contribute. 3 versus 2. That is a -1 if you fail. Yeah, so he did make it. All right, so he gets this clue. Now, it says as an action, if there are no clues, I can test 2 will to set it on fire. Why would I want to set it on fire? Probably as a distraction. So the question is, he moved. He can't do anything. His turn is over. But will I want to get rid of this gift of madness? Randomly choose 1 enemy from amongst the set-aside monsters, which are here, and put it beneath the act deck. Discard it. Yeah, you know what? On my next turn, I think I will. I think setting the fire is probably something I need to do because it'll be a distraction of some sort. Who knows? All right, they are done. There are no enemies in play. Flip these over. I get to get a resource and draw a card. He gets True Grit. Make card 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can only have 8 cards max in your hand. He gets a resource and draws 2. He's got Solano Fragments and In the Know. Spend a secret. Investigate any revealed location as if you were at that. Yeah, let's do that. That's a good one. Okay, any revealed location. All right. Now they have to draw cards. Harvey went first, so he draws Haunted Patient. Spawn at the nearest asylum hall, which is this one. Prey, most remaining sanity. His is 8. His is 5. So he'll go after Harvey. Forced, when you attack the patient, take a horror. All right, so it's here. And on its turn, it will move towards me. All right. All right, now Roland draws a card. And by the way, that is now a possessed. There's a possessed in play. Whispers in your head. Secretly add it to your hand. You cannot trigger fast. It takes 2 actions to discard. Man. All right. It's very thematic. A lot of these cards, you're in an asylum. You're probably like nervous and scared and everything's weird. So these kind of cards make total sense. That you're just highly anxious and you got to spend a lot of your resolve to just move forward. All right. It is now their turn. Here's what I want to do. Rather than investigate this and possibly release this patient. I don't know if this patient is Daniel. Let's see if Daniel's in one of these. So what I'm going to do is flip this. He's going to move for his first action and reveal. Forced. After patient confinement is revealed, advance to 2B. Okay. There's a clue here. And it says, after this one is revealed, advance to 2B. So this goes away. Here we go. 2B is the backside. When you enter his cell, you find Daniel in a corner of the room, sobbing and rocking back and forth on the ground. No mask, no mask, he stammers over and over. You help him to his feet and try to console him, telling him that he is not crazy. Strange events have been occurring throughout town ever since the King in Yellow returned to Arkham. It's Nigel, he exclaims, gripping you tightly. Nigel made us speak his name. He made us speak the oath, and now he lives inside us, controlling us. Don't you understand? He rambles on. We spoke his name, and the price was paid. Hastur, Hastur, O king. You believe you might understand more about the situation if you can calm him down. But you'll have to get him out of this asylum to do that. Choose an investigator at patient confinement. Put the set-aside Daniel Chesterfield card at play under him, okay, right here. He's an ally, so I've now got 2 allies out. Put him in his side face up. Shuffle the encounter discard pile and each enemy beneath the act. There are no enemies into the encounter deck. Okay, so these go back in here. Thankfully, I have not pulled any of the monsters in yet. All right, and now I need to read Planning the Escape. All right, let's see. Planning the Escape. Oh, there's another one. With or without Daniel, you have to get out of this place as soon as you can. Ignore the text on the unrevealed side of Arkham Asylum locations. Unrevealed, so ignore the text. Objective. If investigators have performed 4 of the following, you may advance. Know the guards patrol. I know that. Set a fire in the kitchen. I can do that. Release a dangerous patient. I haven't done that. Recall the way out. Distract the guards. So I need to go look and see what this is. Do this, and if there's something underneath, do that, and then do this. 1, 2, 3. No, I only need to do one more thing. Okay. All right. So where was I? I got to forward that because I moved as one action. There's a clue here. I don't need the clue. Instead, what I need to do is go here and see what it is. I'll bet you it's going to be that 4th one. Let's move here for his second action. Test sanity, or test will, where X is the amount of horror. If you succeed, you recognize the room and remember that you recall the way out. All right, excellent. So there's a clue here, but I don't need the clue. I can just test will. My will is 4 versus the amount of horror. He has no horror on him. So 4 versus 0. I mean, unless I get the auto fail, which I don't want. That is -1. If you fail, okay, so I've got 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, maybe I don't have all 4. Know the guards patrol. Check. I'll set a fire in a minute.
Check out the new RPG and Wargame newsletter. Each week, the Tabletop Engineer shares news, products, Kickstarters, and much more related to the gaming hobby. It's free to subscribe, so check out the link in the video description below to sign up.
Recall the way out. Oh, distract guards and incite a fight. So I haven't done that yet. So I do need to do this one. Okay. All right. All right. So he moved. He moved. And then I'll move back. No, I did pass this one. So he'll move back and he is done. All right. Roland, poor Roland. He's secretly at it. You cannot trigger fast abilities, but he's got to get rid of this gift of madness. Okay, you cannot trigger fast abilities. However, as an action, randomly choose one enemy. So I will choose the top one from among the set-aside monsters and place it beneath the act deck. All right, it's right there. Then you can discard this. So that was my first action. Second action, I will set a fire. Okay, and then my third action, I will move back to the mess hall, and he is done. That is all I can do. Actually, hold on. No. He won't do that. He did a first action, which was to randomly discard. Second action was, yeah, so then he'll move. That was his third and final action. All right, there are enemies in play. So on the enemy's turn, this one will move from here, Asylum Halls, to the basement hall. So it's here. It's coming for Harvey. Then it's upkeep turn. Turn these all over. And each one gets a resource and a card. Dynamite. That might come in handy. And 1, and 2. Necronomicon. And I don't need resources. This would be awesome to have. It does a lot of secret stuff. Okay. I actually have the Necronomicon in my hand. Uses 6 secret, but it costs 4 to put out. But he does have it. All right. So the enemy moved. I refreshed. I got my cards. Now it's the Doom token. Put a Doom token. 2 out of 7. It is now time to draw cards. Who went first? Harvey did. Harvey gets Walls Closing In again. Test Will. 4 versus where X is a shroud value. The shroud is 2. So 4 versus 2. Do I want to try and... I don't really have anything. I can do In the Know. Investigate. No, I don't want to do that yet. I can play that because I don't need clues anymore. 5 versus... 5 Will versus 2. 5 minus 2 is 3, so he does do it. So he dodges the, whatever the card that was, the Walls Closing In. Now it's Roland's turn. Roland draws the yellow sign. Test 4 Will. If you fail, take 2 Horror and search for a Madness weakness. All right, his Will is 3. I can contribute. Oof, I got a lot. I don't want to fail that. So 3, I'm going to go 4, 5, 6. 6 versus 4. That's the best I can do. I have no more will cards to contribute. 6 versus 4. That is minus X, the amount of horror. He has no horror, so he passes it. So that's gone. All right. Now it's my turn. All right. Harvey needs to trigger that. So let's move here for 1 action. He will test 2 fight. His fight is 1. But he does have some cards he can contribute. So he'll contribute these 2 to make it 1, 2, 3. 3 versus 2. That's the best I can do. 3 versus 2 to try and release a dangerous patient. 3 versus 2. 3 minus 2 is 1, so he fails it. He's not going to pass that with a 1. I'd have to get a +1. So I tell you what I'll do. Instead, we got the way out. We got the guards patrol. We set a fire. I need this one. He can't do it, so instead I'm going to play a card called the Necronomicon. He moved. He investigated. Now he'll play 4. He has to pay an extra 1 to get it. It gets 6 uses. This will come in handy next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. He is done. Moved, investigated, played a card. Roland needs to come kill this thing, but he can't get there in 3 moves. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. He can get there, but then this is just going to go the most remaining sanity. Oh, no, it's coming for Roland. Never mind. Never mind. It is coming for me. So it would have gone from here to here. That's what we wanted. Okay, I knew there was something I wasn't doing right. Most remaining sanity. Oh, no. Harvey has the most remaining. Never mind. It's here. Harvey's going to have to fight this thing, which is going to... I could possibly do it. All right, let's get... But I can engage it. 1, 2, 3. And when I get there, it will automatically engage with me. That's what I'm going to do. 1, 2, 3. I'm here. This will automatically engage with me. It's going to hurt me, but that's okay. I can deal with that. That is his turn. Creature phase. The haunted patient will attack me. When you attack it, take a horror. But it does 1 damage to me, so it's not very strong. So it does a damage to me. I can, like I said, I can handle 1 damage. All right, he's got a damage on him. Then it is upkeep phase. Flip these over. They each get a resource. 1, 2. He draws a card. He got 1, 2 punch. 1 card. 2 cards. Alchemical or extensive. Reduce the cost to play extensive research by 1 for each card. Discover 2. Clues don't matter. Will does. I will take this card for Will, because he's got lower will than he does research. That would have helped me with research. Okay, they drew their cards. Now we put a Doom token on. There are now 3 on here. That's a 3 token. They draw cards. Roland went last, so this is Harvey's card. Dance of the Yellow King. If there are no possessed enemies in play, Surge. There is a possessed right here. Otherwise, test 3 will. If you fail, the nearest possessed enemy readies, moves until it reaches your one location time until it reaches your location, engages you, and makes an immediate attack. All right, so I need to test 3 will. His will is 4, and I did pull a will card, so 4, 5. 5 will versus 3. 5 versus 3. Oh, auto fail. Okay. If you fail, the nearest possessed enemy readies, moves. Well, it's engaged. The nearest possessed enemy readies, moves until it reaches your location. Well, it can move, so it would move here. I'm assuming it's engaged with Roland, but I don't know that rule, so I'm going to assume that it's going to go and engage with Roland now. Or Harvey now, excuse me. So, that's not good. And then it says it moves until it engages you and makes an immediate attack. So he does a damage to Harvey. So Harvey has a damage on him. All right. Okay. Well, that's not cool. That was Harvey's card. Now Roland has to draw a card. Roland gets Corrosion. Discard item assets from your play area or from your hand with a total printed resource of at least X, where X is the shroud value of your location. Shroud is 4, with a total printed cost of at least... All I've got is my gun, and it's 3, so it's got to go away. Man, that did not help. Oh, in your hand... From your play area or from your hand. Oh, I can do it from my hand. I can keep that or from your hand because the gun is 4. Where X is a shroud. If no cards are discarded. Okay, so yeah, played that right. All right, so he's still got his gun. All right, now it's my turn. Here's what I'm going to do. Roland will move here as an action. He will engage the enemy, which is hunted. He now engages it. He's got 1 action left. He can shoot it. He will use a bullet. His fight is 4. The gun adds +1 for an attack. If there are 1 or more clues on your location, you get +3. There is a clue here. So he's got +3. So he's at 7, 8 fight. And it deals +1 damage. So if I hit him, he dies because he's only got 2 health. So 8 versus 2. The auto fail is the one I don't want. And I did get it. This is -1 if you fail. Okay, so killed the haunted patient, which is sad, but he attacked me first. And he is done. That is his turn. Now Harvey needs to do this. He needs to test 2 fight. He can use the Necronomicon, and since Roland's here, I can buff it by donating 1 card. This is 2. So he's got 1, 2, 3, and then he will use his a secret from the Necronomicon to increase +2. So it's at 3, 4, 5. 5. He's 5 versus 2. 5 versus 2 to release the patient. 5 versus 2. That is -1. So he does do it. So now I've triggered 4 of these. If the investigator performed for the following, you may advance. So know the guard's patrol. Check. Set a fire in the kitchen. Check. Release a dangerous patient. Check. Recall the way out. Check. I did 4. Flip this over. An orderly scream echoes across the hall. Within moments, an alarm rings loudly throughout the institution. Nurses and guards rush through the asylum in a desperate attempt to control the situation. You feel dazed and your vision is spotty, as though you've been struck by something heavy. The walls blur together and twist. Creatures begin to emerge out of crevices and corners that did not exist moments before. Shuffle the encounter discard pile and each enemy beneath the act deck into the encounter deck. If at least 3 monster enemies were shuffled, I only had 1. The investigator with the lowest sanity discards cards from the top of the card until a monster is discarded and draws it. So I only did 1, so that's good. I don't have to do that. So it looks like I'm gonna, well, I say I'm gonna get out of here, but we'll see. All right. So this advanced, and I read this: No asylum. All hell has broken loose. Ignore the text on the unrevealed sides of Arkham Asylum locations. Garden gains as an action. If there is no ready enemy in the garden, resign. I got to get to the garden to escape. Resign. Finally a way out. If each undefeated investigator has resigned in advance. So I got to get to the garden. Okay. So Harvey did 1 action. He did this. For his second action, he will move. This goes away. Actually, I should have shuffled that in here, but oh well. All right. So he defeated the enemy. I did this as my first action, which allowed me to advance that. Now I got to get to the garden. So I go, for 2 remaining actions, I go 1. And here I can go 2. Okay. And he is done. All right. That is the end of the turn. There are no enemies in play. Upkeep phase. Flip these over. Draw a resource. 1 and 1. Draw a card. Breach the door. Draw 2. Overpowered and working a hunch. This one gets me clues, which I don't think I need. This one is fight, just in case, so I will take that one. It is now doom time. 4 doom on here out of 7. Draw a card. So Harvey went last. So Roland went first. He draws Descent into Madness. Surge. If you have at least 3 horror, lose an action. He does not have 3 horror. But this gains Surge, so he has to draw again. Ooh, Haunting Patient. Nearest Asylum Hall, which is, unfortunately, this one. Prey is the most remaining sanity, which is Harvey. When you attack, take a horror. All right, so it's here, which means it will now engage me. It doesn't attack this turn until the enemy phase, but it's there. Harvey, that was... No, hold on. This was Roland's card, and it now Harvey draws a card. Puppet of Hastur. Humanoid possessed. Forced. After it engages you, you must either take 1 horror, or Puppet of Hastur gets +3 fight until the end of the investigation phase. Wow. Okay, after he engages you, you must take a horror. So he takes a horror right away. Okay, and I can put that on his courage. Remember, these courage cards are for that. Okay, so poor Harvey now has 2 engaged enemies. And it is now my turn. So, Roland is going to hopefully save the day. He will go move 1. Move 2. And he will engage. Who's the worst? They're both pretty bad. After it engages. So, he moved 1, 2, and he will engage for his third action. This. And it says after it engages you, you must take a horror. So he takes a horror on his courage card. And that is unfortunately the end of his turn. Harvey has Haunted Patient. He will fight him. He's got 1 fight. He can do Overpowered, which adds 2. So that knocks it up to 3. And he'll use a secret to knock it up to 5. 5 versus, what did I say? 5 versus 2. 5 versus 2. And that does a point of damage. He's a weakling. 1 damage to him. There's one. All right, 1 damage. So for his second action, he'll punch it again. And this time he'll use a secret, and it's +2, so that's 3 versus 2. 3 versus 2. And he does. He defeats this. So he's got one more action. From here, he can move to the yard. He will move to the yard, and it says, ignore the text on the unrevealed side. This is the unrevealed side, so I don't even have to look at it. But I do have to flip it. While you are investigating, it gets +1 shroud. Don't care. All right, so he's here. There are clues, but I'm not even going to worry about it. And he is done. That is his turn. All right, enemies. Yes, the Puppet of Hastur hits him for 1 and 1. So the Courage card goes away, and he's got 2 damage on him now. And now the puppet attacked him, and it exhausts. And any other enemies? No other enemies. So we refresh this, and the enemy readies. They each get a resource. And I don't know why I'm taking them, because I've got tons of them and haven't been spending them. Sometimes you have no resources and you need a bunch, and sometimes you have all you need and you don't need them. All right. Drew him, draw a card. He gets dodge, and he gets 1, 2. He gets a weakness. We'll get rid of that. And a flashlight. All right. And that is the end of the upkeep phase. Put a Doom token on. 3, 4, 5. There are now 5. Harvey went first, so he has to draw a card. Oh, wait, did he? Who went first? I can't recall. Roland went first. He was exhausted, then Harvey moved. The yellow sign. Test 4 will. If you fail, take 2 horror. His will is 3. Golly, 4. He's got this, which can make it 4 versus 4. That's the best I can do. 4 versus 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. He fails it. It says, if you fail, take 2 horror. And search your deck for a madness weakness. Draw it, and then shuffle your deck. A madness weakness. He does have, how many does he have? He's got 1, amnesia. So he draws it. We have to shuffle this deck. And then the weakness says, choose and discard all but 1 card. So luckily I can get rid of Whispers in Your Head that way, and I'll keep Survival Knife. I don't know why, because I'll just keep it. So these will go away. He's only got 1 card in his hand. That was his sanity. Now Harvey draws 1. And he gets the yellow sign. Test 4 will. If you fail, take 2 horror. His will is 4. He'll burn a Necronomicon secret to make it 6 versus 4. He passes it, so this goes away. All right, we are now ready to go. Harvey can move 1 action to the garden. If there are no clues on the garden, test 2 agility. Remember that you had distracted the guards. I don't have to do that. And then as an action, he moved for 1. As an action, if there is no ready enemy in the garden, resign. A way out. So Harvey is out of the game. Now, it is Roland's turn. He's got the Puppet of Hastur. He's got to defeat it. He has his gun. He will use it. He is now 4 plus, you get +1 for this attack. So 5, 6. 6 versus 2. And the bullet gives me +1 damage. So 6 minus 1 is 5. That kills the Puppet of Hastur. That was his first action. Second action, he will move here. Third action, he moves here, and he is done. He cannot, there's no enemies. No enemies, so he readies, draws a card, Elder Sign Amulet, gets a resource, doesn't really matter. Put a Doom token, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now there's 6 on here. And he draws a card. He drew the Screeching Biaki. Ooh, this one looks bad. Prey. Lowest remaining sanity. That would be him. It's a hunter, so it will follow me. While engaged with an investigator with remaining sanity 4 or fewer. His sanity is 5, 4, 3. He's got 3 sanity. So it is less. Screeching gets +1 fight and +1 evade. Oh, man. Okay. So he's got to kill this thing. It's now his turn. So I drew the card and I advanced that. All right. So while engaged, he gets +1 fight. So its fight is 4. So I will contribute the Elder Sign to make it 5 versus 4. I'll contribute a bullet, which means it is, and there is a clue here. If there are 1 or more clues, you get +3 fight. So he's now at 4, 5, 6. +3 is 9. 9 versus a 4 fight. I like those odds. 9 versus 4. 9 minus 2 is 7. He does 2 damage to it. So 2 damage will be 1 and... Do I have any more? Come on. I'll just take it off of Harvey. 1 and 2. And it has 4 health. His second action, he'll fight again. He'll use another bullet. He's got 1 left. So he's at 5, 6, +3, because there's a clue here, is 9. 9 versus 4. That is -1, so he kills the Biaki. The Biaki, by the way, has got 1 victory point on it, so I get to keep that. I also get to keep this one, because I had all the clues off of it. This one, I had all the clues off of it. This one, is that it? That looks to be it. All right. So he fought it. That was 2 actions. His last action will be to move here, but he cannot take the action to resign yet. So he is done, which means he now has to get a resource. He gets a card. Refreshed. And then he we put a doom on here. Now it's at 7. Let's see what happens. In the back of your mind, a force beckons. Have you seen it? It calls to you. Glimpsing something in your peripheral vision, you turn and find a familiar symbol peering back at you wherever you look. It is etched upon the doors, drawn upon the walls, painted on the patient's canvases. You cannot escape it. The lead investigator must randomly choose an enemy from among the set-aside monster enemies and shuffle it into the encounter deck without looking at it. Okay, no big deal. I'll take the top one, shuffle it in here. I thought it was going to say I had to engage it with only 1 bullet left. Okay. Come on. All right. Where was I? So I shuffled it. Oh yeah. Put this back in here. Check the campaign log. If Constant Domain is not listed under VIP slain, I did not kill any of them. I am pretty sure that I had 0 slain. 0 slain. All right. If she is under the slain, search the collection for her and spawn her in the garden. Well, good news. If she is not listed under VIP slain. Oh, no, I do. If she's not listed, search the collection for Constant and spawn her in the garden. Well, I think she's in my... Let me go get her. I'll be right back. Constant's Domain. She's got an evade of 1. So let's see if we can evade her, and then I can resign. So I buffed it up with 1 card. Didn't I? His agility is 2. I'll get rid of or I could just shoot her. No, she's got 6 health. Let's evade her. I'll contribute this to make it 3 versus 1. Let's hope we can evade, and I don't have to fight her. And I auto-failed. So, of course, I did not get to evade her. So she is now engaged with me, and I have no weapon. All right, let's play it out. All right. That should have been a little easier to figure out. All right. All I've got is stand together. So it is now. He moved, and it said, and then I had to draw I had to advance this. No, I had to advance this. Yes, that's where I put the domain. Okay, just trying to catch up. So I did advance this. So now I read this. His domain. Flee. Flee while you can. When you would place an enemy beneath the act deck, shuffle that enemy into the encounter deck. And I've got 8 Doom tokens to beat her, so I could do this. All right, I have no cards in my hand, unfortunately, because I had to get rid of all of them when I drew that Amnesia card. So he'll fight her. She is now engaged with me. So I advanced that. I didn't draw a card. Roach Swarm. X is the shroud value of the Roach Swarm location. So it's in the garden, and its shroud is 3, so it's got 3 fight. All right, so I've got 2 enemies engaging me now. It is now my turn. Let's try and get rid of... This is not the right card. This is the card. All right, let's try and get rid of... We could evade and then fight. So I've got 3 actions. So let's evade Constance. My evasion is 2. 2 versus 1. And I auto-fail, so I don't evade her. My second action, I'll try it again. 2 versus 1. That is good. What does that get me? +1 for each clue at your location. There isn't any. So, but I still evaded her. That's good. And my third and final action is to fight this stupid thing. My fight is 4 versus 3, and I have no gun. 4 versus 3. 4 minus 1 is 3, so I do a damage to it. And it has 2. So that is the end of my turn. Enemy phase, it will attack me for 1 damage. So now I've got 3 on me. And it exhausts. It is now the upkeep phase. I ready? This readies. This readies. I draw a card. I got Greta. And I get a resource, which I don't really care about. Then I put a Doom token on. And I draw a card. Whispers in your head. Secretly added to your hand. It takes 2 actions. You cannot commit skill cards to this test. Okay, that's fine. All right, it is now my turn. Let's punch this and kill it. 4. Ooh, I could play Greta. 5. That's an asset. Can I play assets? You cannot commit skill charge. Okay, so I can pay 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get Greta in. She gives me +1 fight. So now I'm at 5 versus 3. I did. I killed this. All right, so that's gone. And now I need to get rid of Constance. I've got 2 more actions. No, 1 more. I paid to get this out. That was 1. Fought 2. Constance. Let's fight her. I'm at 5. 4 plus 1. And versus 4. Ooh, 5 versus 4. Not good odds. When she is exhausted, she gets +3 fight. What? Oh, that means you can't attack. You don't want to attack her when she's exhausted. Okay. 5 versus 4. That's the best I can do. I did. So after you defeat an enemy and deal with damage to her, discover a clue. I don't care about the clues. So I did 1 damage to her. She's got 6 health. And that is the end of my turn. I fought. I played a card, fought, and then fought again. All right, so now it is the creature phase. That's his turn is over. She attacks for 2. I will put those on Greta. Greta can take up to 3. And now it is the Mythos phase. Put a Doom token on. Draw a card. Straitjacket. If there is no copy of Straitjacket in your threat area, put it into play in your threat area as an asset that takes up a body slot and 2 hand slots. That's okay. Return each asset in those slots to your hand. This card cannot leave play. It takes 2 actions to discard it. Well, that's not good. And play it in your area as an asset that takes up a body slot. Okay, well, I have nothing that's taking up that. All right, so that's cool. So now it is my turn. I drew the card. I readied. He'll take 2 actions to discard this. I don't know why I need to do that, but and then he will fight. He gets +1 fight, so he's 5 versus 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. We put another damage on it. Am I out of damage? I don't know. Come on. There we go. She's got 2 on her out of 6. And that's the end of my turn. It will attack me for 2. I will take the 2. So I will put the I need to get 2 more damage seconds. 1 and 2. And he's at 5 damage out of 9. Alright, so it attacks me. It's my turn. Upkeep. This. Draw a card. Weakness. Put cover up into play with 3 clues. Whenever you would discover 1 or more clues, discard that many. When the game ends, if there are that many clues, you suffer a mental... If there are any clues... he's going to suffer a mental trauma when he leaves, because I don't have time to get rid of this. Alright. I really desperately need to get... so he drew his card. He got a resource. Okay. And now it is the... I did the enemy phase. It attacked me. I put a Doom token on here. I drew that card. No. I did not draw a card. And I didn't put a Doom on. There's now 3 Doom on here. And I draw a card. And I got Gift of Madness. Secretly add it to your hand. You cannot attack possessed enemies. Is she possessed? She is. Takes an action. Randomly choose 1 enemy from amongst the set-aside monsters and place it beneath the act deck without discard Gift of Madness from your hand. Well, they're all mixed in, so that really won't help me. Randomly choose 1 enemy, discard. Okay, so I don't have to do that, but I cannot discard a gift from your hand. Randomly choose 1 enemy from among the set-aside monster enemies and place it underneath the act deck. Discard it. Well, I can't do that, so I will just go ahead and discard this because I can't follow the instructions on it. All right, my turn. Let's do, when you discover 1 or more, put clues into play in your with 3. All right, so there are 3 clues here, by the way, just so you know. Maybe I do decide to get rid of that. I need a weapon to kill this thing. First action, I will attack. 5 versus 4. 5 minus 1, so that puts another damage on it. She's got 3 on her now. Second action, I will attack. 5 versus 4. That is -1. Once again, we put a piece of damage on her. She's got 4 on her. And my third and final action, 5 versus 4. And I do. I put another one. So she's got 1 more health to kill her. I'm now exhausted. It will attack me for 2. I will put that on Greta. It knocks her out of the game and gives me 1 damage. 1 extra one. It carries over. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 9. I ready. I draw a card. Guard Dog. I get a resource. This is good. And I put a Doom token on. I draw a card. Asylum Gorger. Spawn in the basement hall, which was down here. Alright. It's a hunter, so it will start moving up towards me. Now it is my put a Doom token. No, I just did that. I put a Doom token. I drew this. It is now my turn. Alright. I'll play Guard Dog for 3. Guard Dog, exhausted, engage an enemy at your location and attack. When an enemy attacks, deals damage to the Guard Dog, deal 2 damage to the attacking enemy. This will kill it, but I should be able to kill it. 5. I'm at 4 versus 4. First action. 4 plus 1 is 5, so that does kill Constance. And I get no victory for that, but we'll do it. And now, do I want to come in with a mental trauma, or do I want to... So this one will go 1. It'll come up to the basement. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 turns to get up here. I need to get 3 clues. It's a shroud of 3. I have nothing to do. I'm going to resign. And that is the end of the game. Oh, that was a exhausting game. Wow. Okay. So I will record that, unfortunately, he does have cover-up in his play area, so he will have to take a mental trauma, which means you're basically 1 sanity down coming into the game. Now, I did get some good XP. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, plus what they carried over from last time, which is not much, but I'll take every bit I can get. That is scenario 4. Let's proceed. Let's flip it over. If you took the keys by force, I did not. I used investigate. Harvey did it. Otherwise, read the following. The guards are too busy controlling the situation and restraining the asylum's patients to notice your escape. Read R3. Okay, R3. Let's see. Is this it? Yeah, R3. Should resolve investigator defeat first. With the asylum staff distracted and patients running amok, you are able to slip away without being noticed. You escape deeper into the garden behind the asylum, where a 2-story tall fence topped with barbed wire is all that separates you from the outside world. You have little time and need to make it as far away from the asylum before the guards return and spot you. Using a straitjacket you found inside to cover the barbed wire, you scale the fence quickly, breaking into a run as you make it to the other side. In your campaign log, record investigators escape the asylum. Each investigator earns XP. Got it. If Constance Dumaine is in the victory display, which she is, record her name in the log as VIP slain. Okay. Remove all these tokens, add 2 of these. Proceed to Interlude 2, Lost Souls. Let's do the Interlude 2. Actually, let's not. I'll read this at the beginning of the next one because it's quite long and I don't want to keep you any more than I already have. This is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me as I played another game of Arkham Horror, the card game. This one was a nail biter, but I managed to get out. So I will be back with episode 5 next turn, scenario 5, which is called A Phantom of Truth. Until then, everybody, take care.